But Alex, man, week nine in college football. All the chips are starting to fall, Alex. Everything is
Mm-hmm.
starting to fall into place. Let's go into this. Let's look at the top 25. What are some of these games that you're paying attention to today that have big impact on the future?
So I got four big ones here. I'm going to start off with number one, Georgia at Florida.
Yep.
First time in a long time this isn't a neutral site game. Georgia is going to the Swamp, where it is ridiculously tough to play. Graham Mertz playing very well this year. The running game's starting to pick up. They got Georgia by 14 points. I like Georgia to win, but Florida to cover that. I think it's going to be closer than that. Probably a touchdown, 10-point win for Georgia, but it's one that'll keep them on their toes. My next one, the big noon kickoff for Fox today, Oregon, Utah. Massive game, massive playoff implications, massive Heisman implications.
Mm-hmm.
This is everything we've been talking about today is this game. This is do or die for both these teams.
Yep.
In CFP, in Pac-12 championship chances. This is a massive game. I like Oregon to win this one. I think if Cam Rising was in, I'd take Utah, but Oregon's the better team, the more complete team, better quarterback. I like Oregon to end that massive home winning streak that Utah has.
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave the other one for last because it's in your conference. I'll go to my conference first. Number 3, Ohio State at Wisconsin. They've got OSU by 14.5. I like Wisconsin to cover that. I think it's going to be a 10-point win again. Your boy Phil Longo's there. Yeah. Ohio State's boy Luke Fickell is there. Former defensive end for Ohio State, was on the staff from 2002 to 2016. Knows a lot about Ohio State. Yeah. He's going to have everything. He's going to have those boys ready to go. They're going to give Ohio State everything they have. I like Ohio State to win, but not by much. I think the last 5 games that these two have matched up in Madison for have been 1 score, and 2 of them have gone to overtime, I think. So look for this to be that kind of game. I think it's going to be very close. Then the other one, with Riley Leonard supposedly playing today, Duke at Louisville. I like Duke to cover the 6-point spread because I have them winning. I think Riley Leonard comes in, handles business as long as he can stay healthy today, and keeps themselves alive in that ACC playoff race.
Absolutely, and that's where I'm starting. I'm looking outside the ACC for sure, but I definitely want to focus on that race because you alluded to it a week ago. In that conference, we got 4 teams that either are undefeated as FSU or either have 1 loss. You got Duke, UNC, Louisville, and obviously undefeated FSU. So my focus, yes, number 20 versus number 18, Duke, Louisville. I want to see if Duke has can keep, Riley Leonard's a game time decision. So we want to see if he can get in the game and play a full game. But if he can play good, then I think that can take them over the top. Louisville, man, look, we were talking about them being undefeated, and these guys are shocking the world, X, Y, and Z, and they took the loss, and now I want to see, can they bounce back? I want to see if those guys can get them, focused and get them going again. Let's see. Misor said, I agree, Alex. Leonard stays healthy. Duke wins by 2 possessions. Yeah, that's what's going to be the X factor if Riley Leonard plays in that game. Obviously, got to go with us. UNC, Georgia Tech. I've talked about it many times how we lost that game last year right after they fired their coach. So, it was literally like the game we played last week against Virginia where it was like they have nothing to play for. They are just dumpster fire, and somehow they get the W. So this is a huge game for me today because I really do believe that if we're going to start thinking about CFP, ACC championship, or Heisman, you need to have an excellent showing in this type of a game. Kind of similar to when we played Syracuse. Now, Syracuse is not perennial power. But the last several years, they have started off 1 loss or undefeated. They came into that game 4-1, and we skunked them 40-7. So I really got to see a major performance from Drake May, but also these weapons, Devontae Walker, our running back, British Brooks, and my guy, Omarion Hampton. I need big performances and from our defense to seal this victory. And then I'm also going with you. I'm going in that Pac-12 because I believe that is going to be the race that we've been watching all year, and it's going to be a race that we're going to want to watch towards the end of the year. And one of the games I'm really focused on, guy that we've been talking about all season, but we kind of died down on that conversation, Deion Sanders in Colorado. Yep. Unranked. We've seen them struggle throughout this year, and they're going up against a UCLA team that we've said, are they for real? Are they a fraud? They've started to really get that running game going with Carson Steele, and I think that's taken pressure off of Dante Moore, the quarterback. And I think if you can continue to run that ball, which is something that we've noticed, Colorado is not great in the trenches. If you can run that ball, keep that offense off the field, I think UCLA gets another W and really starts to pose some of the questions we were starting at the beginning of the year, where it's like, okay, what does Deion have to do to get in that conversation for Coach of the Year? But also, what are some of the things that you can build on? You're not going to be in the CFP. None of the Heisman projections, yada, yada, yada. We all knew that you're going to get a year, probably 2, before people start talking about this player going to the league or transferring, what have you. So I do wonder if he loses this game, and then, it's not easier down the stretch. How do we look at Deion this year? Great start, but once everybody caught up to him, things were a little different. I mean, I think it's going to be very telling what we see in this game.
I think it shows how hard it is to try and build a team with like 80 transfers.
Yes.
I think the fact that there were so many new players brought in, a whole new coaching staff, I think the 8, 9, 10 win predictions I was seeing by some people were ridiculous. Yeah. This was a 6 to 7 win team if everything went their way. You could argue 8 if really everything went their way, but they weren't beating USC. They weren't beating Oregon. They're not beating these top teams. They're not going to go into Utah and beat them at the end of the year. They're just not. So this was a team that it's a great story for a 1-11 team last year to rack up some wins, still beat your rival. This season's still a success for Deion if you look at it from what Colorado was before.
Yeah.
If you look at Colorado from the lens that people were starting to put them in, it's a failure.
Yeah. And I like recruiting and coaching are 2 totally different things. Absolutely. Misador, I think I might have missed his comment. He's certainly having a draft-worthy season. Who was he talking about in this one?
Leonard.
Okay, Leonard, yeah. I didn't know if you were talking about who the last quarterback to come from UNC was, because I did want to bring that out for you, baby. Let's go.
Do you know who the last Duke quarterback was that was drafted?
Oh, my God. Daniel Jones, right?
Yeah.
But then before that, who was the last
in 2019?
God,
before then? Oh.
You got to go way back.
Yeah, you got to go way back.
What? I'm trying to think of what quarterbacks Duke's had.
Yeah, we're gonna look at Duke quarterbacks at the
end. Yeah, right. Might be here for a while, guys. I said quarterback. Yo, real quick, while he's looking that up, Oregon State, Arizona. Found out Fafita will be playing today. We saw how he almost got the W over USC, helping Arizona to put up 41 points in that bowl game. He's had some stellar performances this season. We know Oregon State, DJ Youngilele, he's another one that only has that 1 loss. So I'm really looking forward to this one for Oregon State to keep pace. You got to he's apparently a pity back. Wow. No, you're not talking about my boy Sam Howell. No, you're not. Okay, get past
he might be talking about Daniel Jones at that point.
Oh, yeah.
The last Duke quarterback drafted other than Daniel Jones was almost the last pick in the 2013 draft. Sean Renfree. That name ring a bell?
Never heard of that.
Then before that, you're going all the way back to 96. In the 6th round to Pittsburgh was a quarterback named Spence Fisher.
Nope.
Anthony Dilweg in 1989, 3rd round pick to Green Bay.
Never heard of her. Yeah, I don't know who these people are.
Yeah. Nope. No real notable ones.
Oh my goodness. Yo, let's yeah, that's because Duke sucks. Tar Heels. Sorry about that. I had to throw that one in there. My last game right now that I want to look at, obviously, it's not a game a lot of people are going to pay attention to, but I've just been keeping my eye on this team. Love my service academies. Got a lot of family that's been in the military. And I got to shout out Air Force, man. Number 19th ranked Air Force is 7-0. It's going to take a whole world to move and everybody in the top 10 to drop for them to really, and they got to win out to get up in the scenario. But I mean, the way that they play offense, we know about the service academies. Really, they're always triple option, all this option offense and things like that. But they've been starting to pass. But one thing I will say is coaching for on a team that runs that offense and coaching against them, I'm telling you, one of the toughest things to do, especially if you're playing against those teams. Catching that trap right up the middle, the guy, you get the guy in motion. You're trying to figure out what's all going on. There's so much to look at. Air Force is putting it all together. Now, mind you, I know a lot of people are going to look at it and be like, come on, Sean, Air Force, bro, who have they played? They beat a Wyoming team that has been absolutely tough this whole entire year, took Texas to their limit. San Diego State hasn't had the best year offensively, but that defense has been showing up. They put 49 on those guys. We know about our buddy Andrew Faubert loving to follow San Jose State and how they get it done. Air Force put 45 up on these guys. They got the dub, held Navy to 6, and then going into today's game against Colorado State, who is a lot better than last year. We all talk about last year Colorado 1-11. Colorado State was 1-11 as well. Like, they were terrible last year, and the fact that they've got these 3 wins and they've looked respectable. This is a game that I really want to see. It should not be an issue. And then going further, you have an Army, a Hawaii, a UNLV, and a Boise State. So realistically, you're looking at potentially only 1 loss. And I'm looking at that Boise State game. But this is one of these teams that it's good to see teams playing well, playing together, and really running the offense the way it's supposed to be run. Shout out to him, man. And I might be by myself with that. I love it. But, hey, shout out to my service academy. Yeah, I love that.
Also, we forgot to talk about this earlier. Army, as of next year, is no longer an independent.
Ooh, that's right.
They're joining the AAC next year, the American Athletic Conference.
Interesting.
Which I believe is the same conference Navy's in.
Yeah. See, so that's going to be very interesting because one of the things we've also talked about is Notre Dame. You know what I mean? They're not going to get that conference championship game because they're not in a conference. With all this realignment, is that going to start to eliminate the independents?
I think so. And I mean, you're starting to see the conferences have more money to throw at the teams, which could be a big factor.
Yeah.
Notre Dame will still be the last one. There's only 3 more independents left. UConn, UMass, and Notre Dame. But, I mean, Notre Dame having their own network, their own deals with Under Armour, that kind of stuff, they'll hold on as long as they can. But I feel like all these teams are going to be in conferences soon enough.
Yeah. Look, hopefully. Army will be tough playing against the likes of old Ball State. Hey, actually, check Ball State's record. Aren't they doing decent? I think they might be doing decent this year. I gotta look that up. Sorry, Johnny said, sorry, Sean Spencer. I feel like their marketing department should be paying you for that type speech. Yes, Air Force, come holler at me, man. And matter of fact, that's funny. I actually, when I went to I was in college my first year, and I was the first time away from home. I was kind of doing my own thing. So my dad kind of gave me one of those ultimatums: either you go back to class or you go join the force. And so that I walked into an Air Force recruiting place and actually was talking to the guy, and it was going through. But my dad was a Marine, so my dad walked in there with me, and my dad was like, "We're good." And I was like, "Dad, I like this. I like this." He's like, "We're not doing that. We're not doing that. I thought you said you wanted to get into the force." And I was like, "Oh snap, pops! Dang,
wow.
Come on, Dad." So after that, I went into teaching and other things. So obviously, we see Ball State is solid. They are the Indiana school. Oh yeah, that's my state. I can dig it. You right outside of Chicago, Misador. Absolutely.